Detective D and the Four Heavenly Kings is the newest film of the Detective D series, all directed by Tsui Hark. I really enjoyed the first film in this series, starring Andy Lau. It was like a really grounded, interesting little mix of fantasy and period piece, martial arts, and things like that. However, the second film drastically changes everything because it throws in a sea monster. So this movie is sort of more on the second scale item. Detective D and the Four Heavenly Kings is about Detective D, and the Empress does not like him because he has the Dragon Taming mace, which if you spin it and hit anything, it finds the location of the weakest spot of whatever it hits and breaks it. So it's pretty much powerful against any sword or giant stone columns or pretty much anything. So there's this conspiracy where she hires one of his friends to try to take the mace away from him and try to do all these things. However, there's this secret sort of evil cult of villains that are trying to take down and kill the Emperor and Empress. And there's a lot of fantasy stuff going on. The movie just goes absolutely gonzo in the finale with involving a spirit and a monk and things like that. However, there's a lot of it was a really eccentric movie. There's like this assassin girl, and she gets saved by Detective D's doctor friend or something, and she doesn't really add anything in the movie. She doesn't have like a integral role to the finale. She's just there to be a love interest for the sidekick of the main character. As interesting as it was to see that develop, it didn't go anywhere, so there's no point to it. It just felt like it was just there to sell the romance aspect, and I felt that was kind of cheap. Fight scenes and fantasy visual effects were fine, I guess. There wasn't really anything too memorable. I kind of miss Andy Lau because that first movie was really serious, and the second movie was called Young Detective D because they're trying to go for like a prequel thing. This one's just called Detective D, so they're trying to make it so that Mark Chow is the status quo Detective D from now on if they make more of these movies. However, I felt this movie, it was entertaining, but it was a little out there. It just didn't feel like it needed more focus. The villain was there and everything. They just threw magic in there, and the magic wasn't real, but then it was real, and then I don't know, just sort of was all over the place. So I give Detective D and the Four Heavenly Kings a 5.5 out of 10.